Welcome to the podcast. We're going to have a good laugh. So sit back and relax and enjoy the podcast. This is TheraTea.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Okay, I am your host, Zay to the Len, and I am back again with your favorite podcast, my friend. Okay, this is TheraTea with your host, Zay to the Len, and we are back again for another episode. Okay, and this episode is titled Let's Go Deeper. Okay, because I feel like we ask too many surface level questions. Like we're just surface level. I need to go deeper. I need to go into that epidermis. I need us to go deep. I want you to go deep. Yes. And see, you would know that song if you watch some of my old videos like doing them vinyl stuff. Okay, so you should know that. If you don't, you ain't no real fan. You ain't no real fan. You ain't no diva. It's okay, though. I still love you. Still love you, though. Still love you. Still love you. Right. So without further ado, let's go and get this episode started. So we know we got to take us a sip. Let's go and take us a sip, okay? Which this cup is a little full. Hold on. Can y'all hear me slurping on this mic? And don't be judging me. Don't be judging me. I don't like that. Anywho. So let's go deeper. So how are we going to get deeper? Well, as I said, I feel like we asked too many surface level questions. Like going back to my episode about my last episode titled, help. Like, wait, what was the title? Wait a minute. Hold on. How can I help? There we go. That was the title. How can I help? Thank you. Thank you so much, cards. So this I keep my cards on me. So in the last episode was titled, How Can I Help? And I feel like one reason that like I mentioned that we don't, we need to ask more questions like, how can I help you? How can I help you? And that's a part of going deeper with a person. People, the surface level of people, or should I say people's surface level, how they present on the surface, that's a better way of putting it. How they present on the surface is not always what's there internally. Because someone can smile, just smile, just smile, but inside they're just deep, dark, and depression and all these other things that's going on. So in order to make sure that no child is left behind, make sure nobody's left behind, we must go deeper with the people that we have deep connections with, And so now mind you, we go deep into stuff that we probably shouldn't go deep with, Like we love investigating mess, investigating drama. We love getting to the bottom of why homegirl pregnant by the homeboy that's supposed, like, why is homegirl pregnant by her homeboy cousin that's really actually her cousin. But see, we love getting to that type of mess. We love trying to figure out why they arguing on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. We love trying to figure out, why homegirl got pregnant by that man that's already married. We love trying to, go deep into stuff that ain't none of our business. That ain't none of our business. It ain't none of our business. Unless it's you. Unless it's you. But, if it ain't you, it ain't none of your business. Ain't none of your business. Okay? But I feel like, though, instead of investigating mess, let's investigate each other's emotions. Each other's feelings, each other's behavior. Let's examine it and I'm put to you like this. If you are in a relationship with somebody, that doesn't mean, romantically. Just if you and a person are connected, like y'all could be friends, brother, sister, relatives, partners, whatever. But if you guys are in a relationship with each other, I feel like you guys should be able to pick up on certain things, like when their emotions change, when their feelings change, when their behaviors change. I feel as though if you really know a person, you should be able to know when those changes happen. And so when those changes happen, you be like, okay, wait a minute, she's pivoting. He's pivoting. He's thinking. He's doing something like that. Like with my friends, I can look at their face and tell what they're thinking. Like I can tell. I'm like, wait a minute, what you thinking about? Like I can think you're thinking, you're processing. I can think you're doing something, And so that is all a part of knowing a person deeply. And so when you know a person deeply, you know a lot about them. You know what makes them tick, what they don't like, what they like. You know a lot. But for someone who doesn't, it's imperative, even if you don't know the person or you do know the person, it's imperative that you ask those deep questions. Like I see a lot of people like in the dating circle say that when they're going on their first date, those awkward questions like, "Hi, what's your favorite color? My name is." And like we don't want those questions. We want those deep questions like, "What's your credit score looking like?" Well, wait a minute, no, that's a deep question. But they want questions like, how did your last relationship work out? How do you feel going into this new relationship? What are your future plans for this? And those are accurate and much needed questions to ask when you're on like a first date, second date, third date, fifth date, whatever date you on. Okay, it's questions that you should ask anybody. And so instead of asking like, how you doing, start saying, how are you feeling mentally today? Like, when was the last time you felt genuine joy? When was the last time you cried? When was the last time you had a good time? When was the last time you thought about something that made you change who you are for the better? Those are deep questions. Those are open-ended questions. Those are not yes or no questions. And I think I know, being a journalism student, is that we are taught to, when we're coming up with interview questions, we need to ask questions where we don't get a yes or no answer. We want to ask questions that they will make the interviewee think and also give us a good response that we're looking for. So you can ask, did you like the event? They'll play like, yes, no. You will say, how did you enjoy the event and what made the event enjoyable? See, that's a question that garners you a response that's not a yes or a no. It garners well, this is how I felt. Da 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 da. And from that open-ended question or open-ended answer, you can create another question if need be from that answer. You see what I'm saying? It's all about asking a thoughtful and deeper question. And so oftentimes when we don't ask those deep questions to, our people that we're in a relationship with, that we love, that we care about, that we trust, we can sometimes miss signs as well. Like miss signs of depression, of hurt, of things. We can miss those signs of traumas and things because we just don't take the time to go deeper and sit down and be like, what's going on? Like, I know we giggle, we chat, we kiki, all this, but what's going on? Like, I feel as though, especially in friendships, I feel like if we're in friendships, we shouldn't just be like, what's up, we should actually have deeper conversations about things that are impacting us in our personal lives. Like, we should ask our friends, like how you doing mentally? Like, what's going on? Like, even remembering things like, okay, how are you feeling now that you're past that trauma? Or like, how are you coping with so-and-so? Like, if someone is grieving a loss, a way to ask questions like, how are you grieving? How is the grieving process for you? Like, how are you in the grieving stage? And I think that there are a lot of people that are going through grief. I've seen it all around. And I think it's important that we do reach out and make sure that they know that we love them and that we are here for them wherever they need to be. And I'm going to pivot real quickly to a conversation that me and my best friend just had. But before I do that, let's take a sip. Thank you. Take a sip. Take a sip. So recently we had a conversation that someone we both knew, they had lost someone very important to them. And I had reached out, and my friend, she was going to reach out as well, but she wanted to, wait to see, if she was, if the person was available to, or, respond to, us messaging them or whatever. And we got to talking about how, like, when people are going through grief, sometimes they don't want everyone calling or texting or emailing. They don't want all that. They want to be left alone. And honestly, that's true and fair. And that's why I'm not a person. Of course, when people are grieving, I do want to send them a message, and I do, sometimes send them a message or whatever. But I know that it could be so overwhelming when everyone is texting and calling and like, "How are you? I'm praying for you." Da 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 da. It can be so overwhelming, especially when you're trying to grieve with the loss of someone that you loved and cared for deeply. That can be such a draining experience, and I don't want to add to someone feeling drained or feeling overwhelmed. So I try to approach it as a, like, of course, if they make a post, make it out, I'll leave something under their post, or like it, or heart it, or do a carry emoji, or send something privately or something. But honestly, I feel as though in those times it's okay to give them space, because I feel as though we need space in those difficult moments. Like, grief is something that we need space. You need space when you're grieving. Not just even grieving a person, grieving, you can grieve so many other things, but when you're grieving something like you lost your job, or you lost your dog, or you lost your car, like, there are memories and things attached to those things. And so you have to grieve those memories. But it's just a part of wanting to show respect and be loved. But the whole purpose of that tangent was that sometimes we want to reach out and go deeper with people, but we have to be respectful of what they're going through, and just, approach it in a safe and respectful way, so that you don't come off as another person that's, okay, they're going to reach out one time and then not reach out again, or they're just they're just doing it because everybody else is doing it. So let's just go deeper in a meaningful way and make sure that we're doing it with respect and care and reverence for the person that is going through that whole difficult time. But that's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. Just be mindful. Be mindful of what you're saying, what you're doing, who you saying, who you saying, to. Just hooting and hollering, just talking and talking. But yeah, and I think one of my last points I'm going to say is that we need to do more check-ins with people. Yeah, make sure we're checking in and asking those questions like, are you actually good? Like, how are you feeling? Like, how's life been treating you? I mean, has life been life, and has life not been life? And of course, God's been guiding, but has life been life? How have you been dealing with life been life? And so I think we all should do a better job of checking in. I know I could do a better job checking in. There's a lot of things I know I can do better, and that I'm gonna start and trying to do better, because I don't want to be a person that's gonna come over here and talk and say, do this, da 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 da, and I'm not doing it. Like, that's hypocritical. So of course I want to practice what I'm preaching. And so, yeah, I know that's one thing I can do better, is like call and check up on people, da da da. And so that's one thing I'm trying to do. I want to make sure I'm checking up on people, whether it's call or text or showing up in person. One thing about me, I love a good pop up. I live for a good pop up. If I know where you work or where you at, I love a good pop up. I love popping up. Like, I'll wait for you at the door. Like, I love popping up on people and just seeing them like, "What you doing here?" I'm like, "Well, I'm here." I just love it's so spontaneous to me. I like being spontaneous. So yeah, let's ask some deeper questions and actually go deeper and take some time to investigate into people and listen. A part of going deeper and asking those deeper questions is listening. Like, a lot of people ask questions to respond, but you should ask questions to listen, especially when you're talking to a person that's going through something and you're asking them a question. Don't just ask the question to respond. Ask to listen, because at that moment they may need someone to listen. Everyone is probably sending the messages just saying, da da da, I'm praying, da 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 da. They're just saying things, but there's no one taking the time to listen to them. So when you ask those deep questions and actually go deeper into a person, make sure you're listening to what they say, even if they're saying it. Because sometimes, I said it before, some people aren't as open to receiving the love and the deep connections that others are used to. So we have to, make sure that, give them the time and make sure that they're comfortable with explaining and saying things. I don't want to make people uncomfortable. And so let's just make sure that we're like, Are you ready to talk about this? Like I ask my friends a lot when we talk about different stuff. Like, do you want to talk about it? Do you not? Because I know some things you're just not ready to talk about. You may be ready to talk to them about it, but they're not ready to talk about it. So you can't force someone to talk about something because you're not gonna get to. You may not get the truth. You may not get the honesty. You may not get the healing aspect that you want to get out of having the conversation with them. So you have to make sure that they're ready for you to go deeper. Make sure that you're ready as well, because you can want to go deep with someone. You may want to ask them a question, but when you ask the question, you realize, and their response makes you realize how unprepared you were to have that deep conversation. So make sure that you're ready, that they're ready, that you both are comfortable, and that you're in a space where healing and honesty and truth and growth and release can abide. Make sure that whatever you need to do to make that space. If you need to go in a car, just you two in the car and nobody's listening. Like, if you need to, start off with prayer, pray. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with a prayer. You start off with prayer. Just do whatever you need to do to set the mood, to set the vibe. Set the vibe. Set the vibe. Set the vibe for you all to go deeper and to have those meaningful conversations, because that benefits you. So let's do our best to ask deeper questions. Let's go deeper with each other. Ask deeper questions and actually investigate and go deeper with the person. Don't just ask them just like, okay, how you doing? They ask, okay, I'm good. Move on to the next question. Girl, you heard about so? No. That's like, okay, are you really good? Like, you really good? Like, how what kind I'm doing? How you doing? Like, how you dealing with this and that? And that all comes with knowing the person. So let's do our best to go deep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's do our best to go deep. Shout out to Kiana Day. Hey girl, what's up? But yes, let's do our best to go deeper, to ask meaningful questions, to ask those questions, to listen to the person, to help the person. Ask the questions for them, not for you. You don't need to ask those questions so you can get the tea and tell somebody else their tea. No, you ask the questions so you can help them grow. Okay, let's not get in folks' business just to tell other people their business. No. If you're going to get in their business to help them, not to harm them. Okay? They want to vent. Okay? Not for you to be a vent. Okay? You can't vent to everybody because, they say vent, can't vent to everybody because vents travel into other rooms. You felt it. You see, you shook. You felt a shift in the atmosphere when I said that, didn't it? Okay, then. See, my lamp be talking, but y'all don't have no church. But yeah, you can't vent to everybody. So I dropped some nuggets in this. Okay, clock like tea. Okay, because y'all be over there telling some, and I just be like, that is so wrong. But anywho, yeah, let's go deeper. Make sure that when we ask those questions, we're ready for those questions. That let's just do it all. I'm gonna wrap this all up in a big pretty bow. Let's make sure we're doing it all to help that person. Be honest, be truthful, be loving, be kind, be careful, okay? And just be there. Be deeper, be ready for them to go in the deep, okay? Just be there for them in the deep. All right, I love you. God bless you, and I will see you on the next one. Love ya. Mwah.